Well, Gift of the Giver says it is ready to deploy a rescue team to Nepal amid growing calls from families for urgent intervention as loved ones remain missing following severe flooding in parts of the country. The floods and the landslides have swept through communities, damaging roads and infrastructure and leaving people stranded, some unaccounted for. Joining us to unpack this and the readiness, Gift of the Givers founder, Dr Imtiaz Sooliman, joins us now. Dr Sooliman, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. One can imagine that the intervention in Nepal from anyone at any point right now would be a resource-intensive intervention. What is it that the Gift of the Givers is hoping to specifically assist with?
Well, good evening, Oliver. The initial stages, of course, is to find people, find either live people or deceased people. South African family members, I'm in contact with all 6 of them now. Well, 4 families, and they said, we can't take this anymore. We want to find our families. They hopeful that they'll be alive, but some have already accepted the fact that they may have passed on. And they want to find the families, for closure. So that's of course a natural human reaction for anyone from any country and even from Nepal itself. So finding live people was great, but given that the volume of the water that came down with such speed, with such short notice, there's going to be many, many more than those 900 that are missing, and many more will have passed on. In fact, the tour operator that I spoke to said thousands of houses, businesses, cars, buses, homes all got washed away, and even malls. And because it's a confined space, a lot of people living in that confined space, I think the death toll is going to be horrendous.
Yeah.
And the other danger they have right now, I think the Chinese government did send them images that one of the dams is getting full, and the danger is secondly the damage with the dam wall breaking and more water coming down. The only access is by helicopter, and they can't get there, or they can fly over, but they can't land because there's no solid ground on which to land on. It's only water. In this kind of situation, of course, you wait for the water to recede, but the danger is if the other dam breaks, we could have the same problem second time round. And of course, our teams are ready on the first step for first search and rescue. There probably won't be much medical need in this kind of situation, but they will need accommodation, they will need water, they will need food, because a lot of their homes are destroyed. They will need clothing, mattresses, blankets, and of course, medical care, which their country will be able to manage that aspect of it. But in terms of finding people live or deceased, they're going to need a huge amount of teams to help them, given the amount of water that has come down and the amount of people affected.
Yeah. Importantly, Dr. Sooliman, is that one would imagine as the search and rescue continue that those who would be found right now would be in terrible conditions and would need immediate healthcare almost immediately. You experienced in situations like these in being able to set up a remote hospital within a matter of hours and a matter of days. Is that something that your team is considering at the moment?
No, because the Nepalese government got a very strict law. In 2015, when we went across for the search and rescue teams and medical teams, they told us your search and rescue team can go anywhere. But they said no non-Nepalese citizen is allowed to work in a government hospital, and because that time we were to work in a hospital. And your mission was dead even before it started. So, but being trained in this field, my teams then told them, we have Nepalese citizens who live in South Africa, they're part of our medical team. We have South African doctors who trained in Nepal, they're also part of our team. And then we have just plain South Africans. So they negotiated a diplomatic arrangement. And they said, give us one of your hospitals, bring your healthcare minders to watch how we operate. If you're unhappy, we take the entire medical team and we go back home. If you're happy, we work in any hospital we choose. After 20 minutes, they told us, you're the only team in the world that we are allowed to work in any Nepalese government hospital. So in that case, there were no field tents or anything put up. It was mostly done in clinics or centers, even though it was an earthquake in buildings, they worked in those areas. Yeah, of course, tents will be required because the buildings are washed away. There is no other roads there. And some temporary structure should be put on. But they do have a lot of medical personnel. And when they have enough medical personnel, you don't want to tramp on their feet. Search and rescue, they wouldn't have enough of. So they haven't even asked for medical teams. When we offered search and rescue, they said yes, but on condition the Nepalese government says they want people to come and help. And this is the standard policy of Gift for the Givers. We will not respond to any international disaster until a call is made by the head of state to say, please come and help us. The disaster teams, they're still there from 2015. Our friends are still there. And they also told us, look, we have to wait for the government to make an announcement. Secondly, don't come straight away because the water levels are still high. And thirdly, if the other dam breaks, we're going to have a problem again. So wait a few days and give the government themselves time because they themselves are not certain. And they sent us a message today to say the Prime Minister and other members of the government are now touring the area. And a decision will be made within the next 24 to 48 hours whether they want international assistance. And then, of course, they will qualify the type of international assistance they want. If they want more than search and rescue, and they want medical teams, we'll put them on and send the medical teams also. But we have to wait for them.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to leave it there. Dr. Sooliman, thank you so much for your time this evening. Really do appreciate it. Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman, the founder of Gift of the Givers.